back. It's time for the weather report with Caldor and Wolf. We're going to find out if in the up and down matches we're going to have rain or are we going to have shine.
Sun changes ID to rain, and he might shine today. You know, I actually thought for a long time about good word jokes for those two, and I cannot come up with any.
That's the best I can do. Like, just welcome back to the weather report. That's all I can do, man.
I was even thinking about using a sentence addressed to you and then ended it with the word sun and going right into shine. Like sunshine, you know, trying to be funny, but it just doesn't work.
I thought cutting the sun part out was the easiest way.
I really tried. I really tried, but it's horrible. I mean, you look at it and it's like, oh my god, this is an obvious one, but then you think about it and it actually doesn't work.
Well, you know, I'm just really frustrated right now because I got ice in my hot 6. I hate that.
You have ice in your hot 6? Yeah, Korea is so cold, isn't it?
I have ice in my hot 6. I can't, it's a little bit tough to drink it, but... Shine versus Rain here, you can see how much experience these two players have so far in the GSL. Shine with a lot more games played, but Rain with a lot more success, notably dropping out of the GSL Code S based on schedule conflicts. Then got really unlucky in his first match, but immediately requalified.
Oh, no. Rain got destroyed. Dream played well. It didn't only get unlucky. Dream played well.
It was a good series. I would recommend it.
Yeah,
it was more about Dream's multitasking than luck, but there was some unfortunate circumstances for him. But regardless, Dream was the better player.
There was a reason why Dream did so well at IEM in Katowice in Poland. So, yeah, that would be a little bit unfair to the Terran player. But you're right, it was unfortunate that Rain dropped out here because, well, Rain is the player who made such a splash in the first season when the Kesma player started to play in the GSL. We're gonna find out if he gets back into the second round or if Shine will be able to advance newly in Team MVP after TSL disbanded. Here we have it. Rain versus Shine. I still can't come up with a good joke.
Yes.
Game number 1
let it go, man.
On Whirlwind. We have the best of 3 at the GSL Code A. The first round of Caldor and Wolf.
We're going to have a regame immediately. Rain's keyboard is not working. Either that or he just decided he didn't want to build probes. I'm pretty sure that he's got a software or a keyboard issue here.
Yeah, it certainly looks like this is the day of the keyboard problems for players. First Zenio. And yeah, we have our admin is running into the booth immediately. He's already scratching his head like, what's wrong today? What did I do?
Yeah, he's getting some first-hand experiences, first time having to deal with these complicated issues. Now basically the issue becomes, is it Rain's fault or is it the computer's fault? And if it's Rain's fault, then we'll just have a regame and the warning, just like usual.
Yeah. And this is one of those obvious things that if your keyboard doesn't work at all of a sudden, I mean, I'm actually thankful that it happens so fast in the game.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't really affect the game, so everything else but a regame would be weird. Did Shine gain weight?
A little bit, maybe. Not too much. I think it's just, it looks a little bit different in that uniform.
Yeah, that might be true. I think usually he's wearing the long sleeves. I like the keyboard of Rain here. Looks cool. I love how players are getting those different colored keys these days. I love that. Just bring a little bit of individuality to the booth. And once again, this hoodie. I have to steal that of Fantasy. I think it could fit into Fantasy's hoodie. He's taller than I am.
Yeah,
that would work.
I think so.
Do you think if I steal Fantasy's hoodie, that would be good? That would probably suit me, right? That would fit. Well, okay.
Sorry,
what's going on?
Well, like, I asked in chat if we were going to resume the game for sure, and they said probably, but they're not sure, actually, if they're going to restart the game.
We are 37 seconds into the match already, and he didn't build a single harvester, so it would be very awkward if we did not resume the game.
That would certainly be basically impossible for our pros player to win. He goes 6 Nexus, he's like, ah.
A 37-second lead into a match, that's pretty huge.
He only was able to mine, so clearly there's an issue with the keyboard. Well, they already said in chat it's an issue with the keyboard.
Yeah. No, we have to have a regame. At least I hope so.
I'm pretty sure we will. We'll get an update on that pretty soon. The referees have to make their decree.
I mean, even if it's your hardware that breaks and you are at fault, this is a situation where I feel a regame would be well advised.
I absolutely agree. There's no reason not to give a regame here.
And Shine is the last person who would refuse to give a regame here.
Yeah.
You could probably ask Shine like 2 seconds away from GG for the Zerg if he would give a regame, and you would give it like, yeah, that's cool. I can't see Shine ever turning you down with that. That's such a nice kid.
Yeah, I mean he's friendly, he's nice, and we don't have any updates yet, so I'm guessing there's still some discussion going on.
Yeah, but
it's more likely that his keyboard just isn't yet fixed. I think we're gonna have a regame no matter what, but he probably just needs a little bit more time to fix his keyboard.
Well, whatever is needed. To be honest, this is one of the games that I really wanted to see, and for me, it's real difficult because I really like Rain. I like his style. A lot of pros players out there are huge fans. And I want to see him advance. I want to see him get into Code S. At the same time, it would be so unfortunate for Shine to drop out of Code A. He is one of those players who continuously reached either the 3rd round of Code A and then lost, was then playing the up and downs, and barely wasn't able to get into Code S. And now he's in the 1st round again, has to meet Rain. So for him to drop out would also be something that would just crush my heart. It's like, this kid was struggling for like 2 or 3 seasons now, doing so well. Then he faces Pold in the finals, well, not in the finals, in the 3rd round of the first Code A season. And then in the 2nd round, I think he lost to Terminator, when I remember correctly. In the 2nd round, was once again going into the up and downs. Had to play his own former teammate, had to play against Center. It was once again close. Now he's in the Code A again.
Yeah, I mean,
he's dropping out now. That would be like,
he's just had a rough road. I mean, TSL disbands. He gets into a new team though, and so compared to Fnatic, formerly Fnatic Alive, this is a little bit of a different scenario where if he loses here, he still has his team to fall back on. GSL starts this weekend, so he's not going to lose all exposure and have to retire. But this is still just from a perspective of you and I being friends with this guy and discussing with him. We know how much he wants Code S and how close he has been over and over and over again.
Of course you want to have the better player advance, but at the same time, if you have been in Korea for this long and being friends with the players, you know their story, you know what time and effort they put into achieving their goals, how hard they train with their teammates, and then seeing them in a situation where you have 2 great players facing each other in round number 1, it's always a little bit unfortunate and sad. Because for those players, this is the most exposure that they get, at least for Shine that is. With Rain, you have still him competing in Pro League. He
won the OSL.
He won the OSL. He will most likely participate in a lot of overseas tournaments as well.
He's been playing StarCraft 1 for a really long time. He's already been known before Shine was known.
Shine, on the other hand, is young. He's definitely a player that can bounce back. He is good enough to do that.
And things are going to really change with Heart of the Swarm coming up anyways for these 2 players. But you want to be in the right spot. We talked about this earlier in our afternoon session. If you go into Code B, qualifying for Code A is hard enough. But in a very new and different game, trying to qualify in that qualifier in Heart of the Swarm with the balance of the game not even 100% figured out, builds not 100% figured out, it's going to be even harder, and you may lose your career while the game is being figured out while you're in this weird shifting transition period. So for both of these players, this is a very important time for every player in this round, because this is the last Wings of Liberty tournament.
Exactly, and we had players like C dropping out of Code A who immediately tweeted that they would uninstall the Wings of Liberty client now and focus entirely on Heart of the Swarm. So this is true for like every player. It's just this transition that we have now between the 2 games, and it's really important that you start to prepare for Heart of the Swarm. So right now, Rain is typing
keyboard
an E. His keyboard is working.
I guess that's what he wants to type so he can make a probe. He's getting ready.
He's getting ready, hitting this button. We have to have a regame.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Don't tell me we actually started 37 seconds in the game.
No one's answering my inquiries in the chat, so I think we're probably... My inquiry says, like, what are we going to do? But no one's telling me. We're going to get an update as soon as possible, guys. I think nobody knows yet.
And here we go.
Yep, we're going to make a new room. And
okay, thank you very much. I got worried. I suddenly got worried.
I left the game.
With no one actually like is telling us what's going on in the situation, or that's not really true. Like no reliable information being available at this point, I started to get a little bit worried that we would actually just resume the game and be like, okay, well, it's your fault, we're sorry, but the rules are like this. But no, we're flexible enough to start the lobby again, and that's actually pretty awesome. So Rain and Shine can start to be this match that we all expected and we all wanted to see. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Lobby is remade. I am joining it. And I asked Heaven if everything is okay, and he says no, we need a little bit more time.
Guys, what you can do, we talked about the this really hard job that we have to make fun of the two player names, to include them in jokes, with it apparently being so obvious, but it's actually pretty hard. So while we're still waiting, you can definitely tweet at us some suggestions. What do you think would be one-liners that could work with Shine and Rain? Remember that Rain was actually called Sun before he changed his nickname. That is also pretty awesome. If you can come up with a couple of phrases that work well, we'll definitely include them in game number 2.
Yeah, not just all together, like something that sounds clever.
Yeah,
like something that I read and I'm like, oh.
Exactly, where it's like, look at you. So definitely tweet at the two of us, at ProxyWolf, myself, at Caldo. If you have a couple of good phrases, we throw them in game number 2 and number 3. For the first game, you probably don't have enough time to pull that off. But if you can come up with something clever, go for it.
Yeah, we'll be reading all those tweets. The keyboard is still not fixed, according to information I have in the lobby chat.
How can the keyboard not be fixed?
No, that's Heaven writing, not Rain.
No, we had this amazing E.
The E. Well, maybe he can only write E now. So now the issue is
he
can make probes, but suddenly his mouse doesn't work.
He's pulling an Aniva, 7 probes, go.
This is...
I'm sorry, Johan, I know that you're watching right now, but that one, I had to go for that.
Well, it's... I think it's old enough. It can be made.
Yeah, he understands. Yeah. He's fine with that.
If I'm a referee at this point in time, I'd say, sorry, there's a QSIN DT35 over there on the box. You have to use this keyboard now. You've delayed the tournament too much.
No, you can't do that. That you can't do. That's like taking away your FA, your sword, your thingy.
It just depends on the rules, I suppose. Like, there's a rule against game delay, but in this case, I don't know. Like, I think that's
game delay. I mean, the worst case scenarios, you have to switch your computer. We have 4 booths for a reason. Of course,
they may actually be doing that right now, for all we know. I mean, I haven't been paying attention on that screen.
Yeah, I haven't seen the screen if we had one of those players move to another booth, but that might be something that is gonna be done here. But having a player play on a different keyboard, nah, can't really pull that off. Just think about all those switches. I personally am a huge fan of brown switches. I feel that...
Yeah, me too. They're my favorite by far.
Yeah, brown by far. I can... black is okay. Red switches is something I could get used to.
I haven't played with red very much, but black for me is too hard to press.
The Steel Series, the new ones, they have all red switches. So that's what the EG players use. They have red switches. It's not... It's a little bit like...
Is it somewhere in between brown and black or something?
Yeah, something in between.
Okay.
I really prefer the brown switches, but red is something that... I tried it and I could get used to red. That's something that I could do. Black is okay, but not really mine. Blue is really clicky and a little bit too much. So right now, brown is good and red is also okay. But if you have one type of switch and then suddenly in a tournament you would have to switch back to something else, that wouldn't work too much.
You know, just going back to keyboards, I really liked blue initially, and I think a lot of people, because of the Black Widow, was like this really popular blue switch keyboard that everybody was using for a really long time. I was using it as well. I was sponsored by Razer at the time, and I got one for free. I was using it. I really enjoyed it. But once you go into brown, you're like, well, first of all, this isn't as noisy.
Okay.
And second of all...
Let's be honest, we both experienced this.
Yes.
Once you live with Sase, you hate blue.
Yes.
Once you live in one apartment with Sase, you start to actually loathe blue switches.
I think this probably happens in pro gaming houses as well. Anyone who has a blue keyboard, everyone's like...
I actually heard that Razer developed the stealth version of the keyboard just because they heard how Sase is abusing this keyboard.
Yeah, it was just because of him. Him and Clyde. I went to the TSL house when Clyde was still on TSL. I remember I was like, what is that noise? I go in the corner and it's just Clyde clacking away on the keyboard.
I am not joking, guys. When we stayed at the GOM house, you always knew when Sase was awake, because Sase would wake up, would walk to his PC and start practicing. And this was the time of the day when no one was sleeping. for a reason. You could do whatever you wanted. Pillow over your head, earplugs, doesn't matter. When Sasa starts clicking on his keyboard, everyone knows it and is awake. There is no chance.
And he's not talking about everyone who's in the clubhouse. He's talking about like everybody who's upstairs, downstairs, and next door.
The whole building.
You know, probably everybody in the near vicinity of the house, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe even the people working at the convenience store downstairs.
Sasa and his keyboard and his mouse, this was one of those days where I was like, okay, well, the mouse that he uses has to be really high quality. He doesn't click. He's not like, ping, click. He like punches the mouse. He like violates his peripherals. It's crazy.
And they all survived somehow.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think he broke any of his equipment.
No, I actually don't think he did. I think they all survived.
You know, when I looked at his mouse, it looks like a really old mouse, too. So I was like, I think he's had this mouse for a while. Probably didn't break it, ever.
Yeah. No, but I get you with the Black Widow. The Black Widow was one of those first mechanical keyboards that we had out there.
It was like one of those first ones that everybody gets their hands on. It's widely available, and people were using it.
I personally really like the Zoe keyboard right now, the StarTale keyboard. That's one of those that I got and that I use at home. But I still have one red switch keyboard, so it's like I didn't decide just yet which one I like better. So I bounce between the two of them. But yeah, keyboards are really important, and it's really important that you have your gear with you. And this is what we finally have for Rain. His gear works. It took a while.
We're doing it.
But we're there. We're jumping into Whirlwind once again. Let's hope that his keyboard issues are resolved, that we now have him building probes at the beginning. Whirlwind is going to be live, guys. This is the GSL. We are in Code A, the first round. Whoever advances will at least be in the up and downs in the next season with Wings of, Heart of the Swamp.
Yes.
The loser drops down to Code B.
Yeah, even the up and downs, the next up and downs will be on Heart of the Storm as well.
Exactly. So the game is live. Let's just jump right into the first map. It's Whirlwind, once again, cross position. Here we go. Bottom left of the map, they just switch positions. Here we have our Zerg player in red. It is the MVP Zerg, former TSL.
MVP Shine.
There you have it. Very patient player, waiting like all of you guys. And to the top right, in the blue, the Casper player from the team SKT. He is
SK Telecom T1, Rain.
Not an easy start for him, but because the staff is reasonable, not only did they let him restart the game, but also gave him a ton of time to make sure all of his settings were working.
This game is going to be exciting because of the history that both of them had. Rain, we talked about this, was making a huge splash in his first season, and he looked so dominant.
A downpour, really.
Yeah, a downpour. And
the
floodgates opened, and
people were jumping in the puddles. There was water was everywhere.
There were Templars with storm, a lot of rain going down. The weather forecast was always a little bit cloudy.
His opponents were hit by the car that hit the puddle while they were walking on the sidewalk because they were too close to the puddle. And the car came by and the water's all over you.
Exactly.
That's what was going on.
It was a flood of skill that suddenly just poured into the GSL. And then he had those issues with the scheduling.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a drought, really.
Yeah, exactly. There was just nothing to be found anymore. So we had him in Code A, where he lost to Dream. And Dream ended the... Okay, now I'm lost.
You lost it. You broke the combo.
I'm sorry. Can you save me?
No.
All right.
Well, I was trying, but no, I can't.
I could see your brain working, and you're like, okay, he's going to ask me in a second. I need to come up with something, and he couldn't. But you know what Shine came up with? Shine came up with the idea of going into a hatch first instead of starting with the pool here. And he gets away with it. Rain, on the other hand, was a little bit reluctant to commit to a Nexus first and instead started with a Forge. So this gives Shine an amazing opening here.
Yeah, this is great. Shine, on the other hand, this is really weird. The build that Rain has chosen, he's getting the gate really fast. He has some extra minerals, so he went for the Nexus on 18. It was a very delayed Nexus, and he didn't have his second pilot down, so he lost some probe production, but he's going to have his gateway up really fast.
Do you know, usually, we talk about these openings in general just a lot, and what we normally say is that it's always better for the Zerg player to be a little bit more safe. But I feel on a map like this risk of taking the hatch before the pool actually is rewarded. And I like that Shine is ballsy enough to do that.
Yeah, it's always a risk you gotta take. Going pool first, of course, gives you the opportunity to make sure that even if cannons go down or he tries to set up some sort of fancy wall, you can usually break through most of the time. Core going down here pretty quickly for Rain as well as his Nexus finishes up. And the question now becomes the normal question. What is the tech? We gotta wait for that core to finish.
And especially on this map, Rain is a player who really likes to go into Stargate. The last few games that I've seen him play, he always went into the Stargate play. But on a map like this, it's a little bit weird. I feel he's probably going to try to take his third base here. That we will see him with the robotics and the Twilight Council and trying to go into a third. Might see the Stargate after all, but it's really anybody's guess what he's going to do right now. On a map like this, you have so many strategies that you can choose from, and it's just an uncomfortable map in general. And that's the Stargate. He's sticking to his guns.
This is a smart map for Stargate. I like Stargate better than robotics on this map. A lot of people like to take the robo, then go for some sort of wall at the third base, but there's 2 entrances into the third base. You usually want to put some pressure on your opponent before you take that. An Immortal Push also is just not reasonable for a map of this size. It's almost impossible to make it work.
The one thing I have to say about Rain and his Stargate is that his Phoenix usage is amazing. He always knows where to hit. He usually goes up to 5 Phoenixes so that he can also deal with roaches a lot better. That's at least what he did on a lot of maps like Belcher Vestige, where we saw it. And I really want to see how he's going to work with this, because Shine is already starting to spread his creep a little bit and will most likely connect his 3 bases very, very early to make sure that the Queens can walk over to the third base and defend it if need be.
Yeah, this is very crucial. He's already starting to push it out a little bit. You know, his gas is, he's already taken his 3rd and 4th one. He's going to be able to attack very quickly.
Yep.
Starts his lair.
At 7 minutes, so not too early here.
Most likely on this map we will see Infestors. Nice cancel on that Tumor. Again, not too impact. When it's your first Tumor, it doesn't impact things too much.
Oh, by the way, I have a good one.
Oh yeah?
I'm going to drop that later.
Okay. Alright. A creep tumor or a joke? Or
no. A name joke.
Okay.
He came up with one.
I'm like, alright, yeah, Color just doesn't have 25 energy yet, guys. He'll drop it soon.
Now, you know, with the game so far, I want to just have a quick look at the statistics again. I really like to give you guys a bit of an idea how strong a player is in a certain matchup. And the matches itself are, of course, always, you have to look at them individually, but it gives you a bit of an idea. Rain in his Protoss versus Zerg is amazing. He has a 71% win ratio with 84 games played, which is amazing given the opponents that he usually faces. And the last few Zergs had to realize that. He won in the preliminaries against both his opponents, Darkstar and I don't even know how to pronounce the second name, I'm not gonna try. But yeah, he won against both Zerg players without too many problems. And Shine is now being supply blocked heavily, losing drones, losing overlords.
Losing several overlords here.
Against all these Phoenixes that are certainly roaming the map. 4 Phoenixes in total, enough to lift the Queen, so there is danger to Shine.
This is a much safer way to take a third base.
Yeah.
Rain is doing a lot of damage, keeping Shine on the defensive, killing drones in 2 ways, literally by lifting them out of the ground and then literally by pushing them into the ground, making them into spore crawlers.
And what Rain usually knows very well is the timing when he has to back off because of the Infestors. And this is the tech that Shine chooses to go. We have him with the Infestation Pit, so as soon as the Infestors are there, Rain needs to make sure that he gets out. But first of all, he needs to make sure that those sentries are not going to be killed.
Yeah, really nice micro here, loses nothing. Good defense, drops the Nexus, he has a supply lead, and the Phoenixes are not done. He could try to pick off the Queen on the edge, he's going to go for a drone instead.
70 Harvesters already for Shine, and a 4th base coming up.
He will be scouted at that 4th as well, so Rain's going to know, okay, I'm safe at my 3rd, I don't have to worry for about a big attack most likely, at least not for a while. And we're at cross positions on the map.
This is going to be a good game mode.
It is. Really good. It is, man. And look at this, he picks off 2 more drones. Shine, though, he's just not missing a beat with his macro.
And look at this control. There are 2 Spore Crawlers, and he goes in, picks off a few drones, and backs off again. So really well done by Rain here. A lot of resources killed. 50 resources lost for Rain.
Only 1 probe.
Only 1 probe, and 1,075 for his opponent.
He's not even going to lose that power, and he said no to those Zerglings. Hallucination is being researched so that Rain can figure out what composition he's facing early on. This is something that we don't see all the time these days because the Phoenixes usually give you a lot of scouting information, but he's doubly going to be prepared. He's going to be able to go in and scout even if his Phoenixes get bungled and killed and know what's coming next.
4th base is ready for Shine. and he's also ready with his first Infestor. So he has the Fungals available. Shine is now in a position where he still can... Well, he's just...
Yeah, Overlord's following a drone. Sorry, I saw that.
What?
The Overlord's set to follow a drone on move command.
Where?
So, oh, just over here, I'll show you. Oh, now he's not doing it, he fixed it. That's weird. Oh, no, he's doing it, see? You can see it. I swear it's doing it, man. See?
I don't
You
know
can see him turn around? Look at that!
Yeah, so what?
I think it's funny, but anyways, the Phoenixes get bungled here.
The Phoenixes get bungled, Wolf is being weird, everything's normal, guys.
Exactly. The Phoenixes go down here. This is a big blow to Rain because he can't use them to pick up Infestors anymore, and he also can't kill Overlords. And this is when Hallucination becomes important.
That's what we said earlier, that usually Rain is really good at taking his Phoenixes back to his base and having him them with his army when it counts. But this time he misses it a little bit.
Yeah, he
and
was
the
really...
Infestors with the Fungal, bam, Phoenix is gone, and as you said, no chance of him later using them against the Infestors.
Yeah, the thing is, he was just really distracted by that Overlord. So loses Phoenixes. Now he's going for a 3-base attack. He's going for +3 charge. He's adding a ton of Immortals right now, going up to the third one in 5 gates. So with the Archons added in the mix as well, it's going to be really good against those Lings. Archon's obviously quite good against Infestors as well, because the Infested Terrans don't get upgrades anymore. But can he hold this initial pressure? That's the question. He needs to use the Force Fields perfectly.
The Force Fields are brilliant, just outside the range of a Fungal. This was so well done.
So
if those
patient.
Infestors get close, then the Sentries are all doomed.
This is extremely well done by Rain so far, but the Immortals are now under attack, and Shine doing a great amount of damage here. The Fungals are good, and I feel like he may have too much here.
He has a perfect angle now. He was at first being completely force-fielded out, but the second approach is much better. Here come those Infested Terrans pushing Rain back. He lost a lot already, and those Roaches, they're not going to stop the wall. Prism has to be careful. Nearly going down here.
Extremely careful.
He can take down the Forge. Bam,
Forge is
upgrade's gone.
Yeah, no more +3, and Rain is not going to be able to hit his timing anymore. Nice control on the Immortal. Rain's control is so good, but eventually numbers will win out, and Shine has a lot of them. He does have to retreat here, at least initially, but his Hive is done. The Infestors are recharging enough energy for Fungal soon.
Yeah, this is the big issue. Shine is not going for an all-out Roach attack, trying to just crush his opponent with wave after wave. He is pressuring him, yes, but he is tacking up behind it. And now the Greater Spire is going to be started in just a few seconds, while Shine is not going to stop with those Roaches and Infestors. This is good play by the Zerg, but Rain still holds.
Yeah, he's remaxing so quickly with his economy here. He's not missing a beat. Good split here on the Stalkers, playing into the side. The Infestor's not quite enough for a Fungal just yet.
Keeps all of them alive. I don't know how, but he did it.
Yeah, it's a miracle perhaps. The Stalkers may blink into the side here, try to grab onto those Infestors. He decides not to, but the clock is ticking. It's the Broodlord clock. Every Zerg player's got one of those on his wall, and when it gets to the top there, when the Broodlord clock finishes, that's when Frost players get scared. He wants to hit this timing before the Broodlords are ready, but I mean, this is an intense battle we're seeing in the middle of the map. He doesn't have Force Shields on his side anymore, and that Immortal needs to turn around and start fighting.
Yeah, the Immortal is actually being eliminated. No, the Roaches can't close the distance. A nice micro by Rain saves the beefy unit, and here comes the third one.
He's really making this micro work, man.
Yeah, suddenly those Roaches are in trouble. The supply is even out.
He could blink on the Infestors. He's a little bit nervous. He doesn't know what's on the other side.
We all don't know, Wolf. We're trying to find out. But
I know, I don't blame him, man. Like, there's a lot of questions out there, and some of them cannot be answered without an observer. And here comes the attack now, trying to break up that choke point. Shine really down on supply here. He's got the Greater Spire. He's got a lot of gas, but not a lot of minerals. He doesn't have Corruptors. He may just roll over and die here. I think he will.
Rain is moving into the third, and he really made this micro work. It looked like Shine would be able to crush the Force and at least throw it back, but
Roach
no.
Warren is down.
Rain micros his Immortals like a god, and suddenly we have no Roaches left. The third base is gone. The Greater Spire here is also exposed. He could just go in and take it down.
Yeah, but at this point, Rain would probably be happy to see him try to make Broodlords and Corruptors. They're not going to be useful anymore. The Infestor's desperate here with no Roach buddies. The resources for Shine sort of bank up as he doesn't have a lot of larvae. He doesn't have the Roach War anymore. The Warp Prism is in his face, warping into 6 Zealots, and that is going to be game.
When it rains, it pours sun. Shine is about to lose this game.
Yeah. That certainly
Oh, come on.
is.
Give me a little bit credit for this one.
GG. That was pretty good. You did utilize the tools that were given to you correctly.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool game. It looked like after that first engagement, I mean, he was up 60 supply. He had all the Infestors left, but with no energy. Rain was able to macro like a crazy person, hitting all of his chrono boosts and not missing any pylons. With the resource of his third base, remake the right composition to take Shine out. That was insane. I would have never expected he comes back from that.
Shine played really well, and Rain just with the perfect timing here. It was so impressive to see him micro, especially the Immortals, and Shine missed the opportunity to focus them down. And with all this DPS, Rain could just crush through the defense. It was this pre-Brood Lord timing that worked so well for Rain here on 3 bases. An impressive win in game number 1 on Whirlwind. And Shine now, down a game, has to win it on Neoplanet S, a map where Rain will certainly feel a lot more at home than our MVP player.
Very true. Shine, I hope he's practiced a lot for this map. I'm sure he has, because he knows he has to play on this map no matter what. But like you said, there's just more experience coming into Rain here, being able to play on this map for a lot longer. Neoplanet S, a big 2-player map. Third base a little bit further away. We've seen Zergs figure out how to take that third on this map. Shine, I'm sure, playing with some of his former TSL Zergs, Protoss, of course, in this, and playing with his new MVP teammates as well. He's got a lot of great practice partners to work with.
And guys, the game is live. We're gonna jump right into it. We have Zerg versus Protoss, Rain versus Shine. This is the GSL Code A with Carl and Wolf.